Banlist dropping, players are enraged. Some players are saying, no, I'm still taking a long break. A lot of players like myself is like, you know what? Even though we don't like what Konami's doing with the meta game, even though we don't like the prize structure, we're at least gonna play on a local level and regional level. Like me personally, I'm not traveling a lot of YCS, so yeah, because it's just not worth it. But with that being said, for you guys that do plan on going to these big events and going to locals and regionals like I plan on doing, I definitely want to go to that World Championship tournament next week, because I'm pretty sure locals in my area is going to host it, because you can win some pretty decent product in said event. There's going to be a lot of best decks in the room, but there's going to be 5 best decks. So I'm going to go over the most represented decks I think will be in the current meta game, and then go over some decks towards the end of the video I think will not be so represented, but still really good. So starting off with number 5, I'm just going to go ahead and say Runestun. The deck literally received no hits going into this meta game, and I don't understand why. I think Konami definitely dropped the ball on the Runestun deck. Now, the argument for keeping the Runestun deck around is because it's the budget slash role player's option to meta deck. Reason being, you just stall the opponent out, either mill the opponent till they lose, burn them in time for life points, and just honestly get on people's nerves. People really do underestimate that when you play against a deck like Runestun, how frustrating it is. And a lot of times, it's such a mind game. People mentally check out playing against it. Now, I did listen to a Omega Half of the G video, and he was talking to the dude Jabril, who is a Ubel player, but he's like one of the pros to play Ubel. And he was saying Runestun is a good deck. I mean, it's just a bad deck that ruins people's day and it won't win an event. And while that's true, I don't think a good player is prepared for an event is going to lose to Runestun. Don't be surprised if it is. Like I've been playing card games for 20 years, bro. Like I got to tell you guys, troll decks always come on top here and there. Reason being, people sleep on them, they don't think about them, and then if they go to an event unprepared for it, they're gonna get caught with their pants down. Like say for example, I can go to an event right now, go undefeated, get paired up against Runestun in the last round and just lose because I don't have anything in my side deck for it. So I think Runestun is a solid pick for the format. Whether you love it or hate it, whether you think it's a real deck or not real deck, it's still going to win. It's still one of the better picks for this metagame. And guess what? You don't have to invest a lot of money into it. So I think that's also a good deck to play if you're a budget player. Number 4, Snake Eyes Fire King. So I think Snake Eyes is not going to be that strong of a deck. Pure Snake Eyes not going to be that strong of a deck this format. However, I think Snake Eyes Fire King is going to be the better variant. Feel free to argue about that in the comment section down below. What Snake Eyes did by losing the because like I said, I was watching the Make Up the G video and Jabril made a good point. By Ash going to 1, by your freaking the other Poplar going to 1, by losing Appaloosa, Snake Eyes really can't do much. And then when Flamberge revived the Ash and the Poplar, what are they searching? They're gonna search another Oak. It's like okay, but you're not really gaining much advantage from that. I think people are not giving Konami enough credit for this metagame. And in all honesty, real talk, I think we need to get them more appreciation for what they did to the Snake Eyes deck. Now, everyone said Azamina is going to make Snake Eyes more broken. And like I told you guys in my discussion talk about the ban list, I don't know. Like, yeah, like you get a new Omni in the game, you get more consistency for the Deal Bellastar cards. However, you're not losing Appaloosa, believe it or not, is huge. I mean, they still have Hope Harbinger plays, but having some of your best cards hit the 1, which is the biggest consistency hits, on top of losing one of the best negators in the game, Snake Eyes Pure is gonna have a hard time for against metagame decks playing through hand draw. But Snake Eyes Fire Kings is an annoying deck. The deck was really powerful when I went to YCS Indy earlier this year. I had some really good games against some Snake Eyes Fire King players. I ended up winning most of them. However, the one I did lose, I think it was the dude, he was from New York. Pretty cool guy. The Snake Eyes Fire, they can link someone on your turn, blow up your board. The fact that Fire King engine can play on the opponent's turn is really huge because you got cards like Kieran that's interrupting and popping. Fire Kings, even though they do get hurt by hand traps, they don't flat out lose because they have a little chicken that goes into big chicken. And they have all kind of different Fire King plays. So yeah, I mean, I could definitely see Snake Eyes Fire Kings coming out on top as the best variant for the Snake Eyes deck versus regular Snake Eyes. So which you might have to talk about it as one of the better decks going into this metagame. Number 3, Ritual Beast. We can't deny the Ritual Beast. The deck is really good. It just won a YCS not too long ago. Was it a YCS or Nationals? Let me know. I can't remember. And also it won, I think it won my local regionals this past weekend. Like I said, I didn't go to regionals because I had to work. It was only like 294 people, which is very low for Illinois regionals. The last time we had a regionals that low was when we had like a snowstorm back in the day. But yeah, man, so I think Ritual Beast is really good, mainly because they have a lot of plays. They can play through Nibiru because they can use things like Book of Eclipse to put their monsters face down, and then they can contact fuse into their fusion plays. You really have to know where to hit them. A lot of the times, in my experience playing against the deck at locals, Veilerin them on their first main summon. I don't know the monster names, so don't quote me on it. But Veilerin, a lot of the cards that make sense to Veiler or hitting them with an Imperm hurts them a lot more than like a Nibiru. So I think Veiler, Imperm is gonna be really good for that matchup. But the reason why the deck is good because it's a D shifter deck. D shifters at 3, if they open up the shifter, they're gonna have a good time. Which is why decks like Ubel is, in my opinion, one of the best decks to talk about in the metagame because they just don't flat out lose. You shifter, Ubel player, we go, okay, do combos that don't completely ruin our graveyard. Set up Phantom, set up Nightmare Pain. We just gonna have to rock out, and then we gonna go from there. But yeah, Ritual Beast is a solid deck. I have nightmares from Ritual Beast back in like 2016 when I used to put my hero deck, and they just used to tag in, tag out. I'm like, bro, the Alti Counter Hawk plays was crazy. So, like I said, I don't know much about the deck, so I'm not gonna really talk too much about the deck. I'm one based on results. I played against it a couple times at locals, and I just wrecked it with my Period Bell deck. But it was good games nonetheless. I just had better hands than my opponents. So with that being said, I think Ritual Beast is probably the third best deck of the metagame right now. Of course, time will tell. And also, I got to preface too, this video is only going to be for the metagame I think it's called Rage of the Abyss. So the next set when the Azumia cards coming out. So this format is not going to last that long because I think when the Azumia cards come out, Snake Eyes might get a boost. And it may push some of these decks out of the top 5 level. But for the time being, these are some of the better decks right now. And also, I will make another top 5 list once the new stuff come out, so don't worry. And also, let me know what you guys want to for the top 5 best rogue decks in the comment section down below. I'm not really a rogue player anymore. I do have my love for heroes, but I've been playing meta Ubel for this entire format. So if you guys want to help me out, pick some top rogue picks, just help me out in the comment section down below. Number 2, of course, Tempai. Tempai over the obvious number 1 Ubel, which I want to talk about in a second. Tempai is really good. They can OTK like crazy. They really had a really good matchup for Snake Eyes last format because all they really needed to do is Heat Wave, normal summon monster, attack for game, do all of their single summon plays. Even though they had their Sangan summon hit the 1, they only need 1 Sangan summon to screw you over. It does hurt their consistency, but in the rare cases that they don't have the Sangan summoning, depending on the opponent's field, they're going to have a hard time. They are probably still going to play cards like Regeki. They're going to play the Dark Holes. They're going to play Forbidden Droplets. They're going to play all the board breaker stuff just to shut the opponent's board off so they can OTK. On top of that, they're also going to run hand traps. So don't sleep on a Tempai deck, guys. Like, I haven't played it locally in a couple of weeks, but I've been taking a break since the ban list came out. However, Tempai, even as a Ubel player, Tempai wasn't sweet. So Tempai and Ubel personally is kind of like neck and neck, fighting for the number 1 spot. A lot of people are saying, oh, Ubel craps on Tempai. They have a good Tempai matchup. And while they do, but as a Ubel player, I will say it's not sweet. Don't go into that matchup thing that's sweet. I've lost many games against Tempai because they just miraculously had to Forbidden Droplet during the battle phase, shut your dude off, attack him over. Oh, you can't use effects during battle phase with my Synchro Monster. Now you finna attack for game. So, with all that being said, man, Tempai was already a powerhouse. It got soft hit. They have new cards. I don't know if they have any more support coming out. However, the deck is really good, which is why I got it on as number 2. One of the better decks for the format, obviously. Then, of course, Ubel, my deck being the best deck of the metagame right now. Phantom plays are huge. You run around 2 to 3 Phantoms. Ubel Fiendsmith or Ubel in general is going to be a good deck. Regular Ubel is just a smidget underpowered the Fiendsmith variant, and that's speaking a lot because, like I said, playing at locals, my personal experience, and even playing at bigger events, like smaller events, I don't have Fiendsmith stuff, and I do just as good as the Ubel players with the Fiendsmith stuff. I think that matters when you factor in the fact that The Ubel card is just powerful. Phantom with the negation. You have Veradrus. You have freaking the IP plays. You have the Unchained Rage plays. You have the Red Dog plays that can break boards with the access code talker. You have so much more that all Ubel really lost was opening experience. And let's be real, if you're a good Ubel player, you know losing opening experience didn't hurt that much. And on top of that, let's be honest, y'all, we didn't really need Appaloosa. There was a time I wasn't running Appaloosa. Real talk. I just recently started running Appaloosa right up until, like, I think right during the Indy. Yeah, right around YCS Indy. But before that, I didn't run Appaloosa at local, and I did just fine. So, while Appaloosa is a good card, there's actually probably a broken card that needed to get hit. I will say that. It definitely needed to get hit. Ubel is so powerful. They have an Omni Negate. They have freaking the Fiendsmith Negator if you run the Fiendsmith variant. I plan on picking up Fiendsmith stuff, but for the time being, I'm just going to rock out the Pure until, because I don't know how expensive the Fiendsmith engine is, but I'm not investing money into that unless I want to a big event, which I don't plan on doing a big event anytime soon. At least until Konami increase the price structure, which probably won't happen, right? But yeah, Ubel has a lot of toys, and they have so many different routes they can go. But yeah, Ubel's best deck, I think it's proven that, but I think it's really Ubel and Tempai being tied. I don't think Tempai have that much more power over Ubel and vice versa. Cause like, yeah, Ubel has a great going first game. Tempai has an amazing going second game. But however, Tempai can break a Ubel board. And the thing about Tempai is if Ubel make you go first, if they're siding Heat Wave, if they're siding the freak, which they probably will, Quackimero Draco, that's going to say, oh, you can't play Yu-Gi-Oh for a Ubel player, you're screwed over. There's nothing you do. Finito. They play Heat Wave on you. This is why I didn't get my invite to Nash this year. I was doing good. I was like X2-1 or X2 at a regionals. Going to the last round. Oh, I was like X1. I forgot. I got freaking Heat Waved. And then I lost. I was like, oof, this sucks. This sucks bad. Like, bro, even though a lot of Tempai players aren't really on the Heat Wave bandwagon, getting hit with Heat Wave is no joke. So yeah, man, I think Tempai and Ubel's technically neck and neck, but I think Ubel's a smidget over because Ubel has a better turn one play than Tempai do, and Tempai can counter Ubel. It's like they're like almost on the same power level, if that makes sense. And decks that I think are solidly good that didn't really make the cut for like in the top 5 best decks, but you're still going to see these decks around. Number 1, Branded. 1, Branded Fusion. Like, I'll be honest with you guys, playing against Branded a lot. I play against some of the best Branded players in the country on a regular basis. Uri Diaz, my boy Alejandro from Locals, really solid Branded players. Like I said, they're probably some of the best Branded players in the nation right now, personally. This is from my own experience from seeing how they play and knowing how good they are with the deck. The deck don't need Branded Fusion to be good. I've played against Branded and just lost without them resolving a Branded Fusion. They have so many intricate plays that Branded Fusion was just the icing on the cake. So Branded ain't going nowhere. It's a solid rogue pick, which is crazy considering as powerful as that deck is. That's the new standard for rogue decks, which is insane. Voiceless Voice, another good deck. They can set up Omni Gates. The only thing with Voiceless Voice though, they take some time to set up, and if your opponent has like outs to it, they're just gonna lose. Like if you have Droplet, if you have ways to like board wipe them, and with Bishops being in the metagame, Lola's not gonna sit in the graveyard, so Voiceless Voice is gonna be hurt. And honestly, with Bishops being in the metagame, there's gonna be some kind of form of dragon deck. Obviously Tempai is the best dragon deck, but don't be surprised if we gotta see like a new Dragon Link deck abusing some freaking abusing the what are those the new dragons that just came off the ban. I can't think of the name right now. Like the Blaster, the Redox, abusing some of those guys to just do some rank 7 plays because, and also abusing the Vistas because that's just really good. Also too, like there's a bunch of rogue decks on that's pretty solid. Like my boy JoJo did that Buster Blader deck. That's pretty fun. You still got the freaking the bird deck. I can't think of the name right now. And while there is cards like the Mo Charmies that are hurting things, like the bird deck, and decks like Branded just slowing it down, these decks are very powerful because they all have win cons. Like Branded, you already know Puppet Lock, the bird deck, Shifter, freaking Voiceless Voice. They just gonna Omni negate you and just set you up for the loss. So yeah, man, these are some of the best decks going to the metagame. I was gonna do it as a tier list, but My computer is not really set up for that right now. Like, it's really on its last leg, so I plan on buying a new computer soon. But for the time being, we're just gonna rock out and do the videos the best way we see fit. So, post your thoughts and opinions about the video. Comment section down below. Like the video if you're new here. Hit that subscribe button for more. We're trying to get the channel to 25K subs, so every subscriber would be highly appreciated. And yeah, man, share the videos, like the videos. It's your boy Rogue, and I'm out. Peace. See you guys in the next video.